Hey guys, it's Raven. I hope I did everything right this time so that there's nothing happening weird. Let me turn on the comments here. So, welcome to today. We're going to be talking about Let's Roar with Leo. So, let's talk all about the sign of Leo and what it means and how we can take some of that energy and transmute that into magical energy that we can use in our everyday and our spell casting. So, first of all, let's talk about what it means to be a Leo and all of the things that are involved with that. So, Leo is obviously the month of August. Leo's represented by the element of fire and also the planet sun. It's important to understand that Leo is the only sign that represents sun. Like some signs will share a planet, Leo doesn't share. So Leo and the sun one on one. Sun does not represent any other sign in the zodiac, which is kind of an important. It's a big deal about that. Um, so both of those, sun, fire, which means lots of activity. Fire is all about transmutation and change and activity and basically not sitting still. And this is pretty much what Leo is all about. Leo does not like to sit still. Leo likes to have a party. Leo likes to go out. Leo a lot of times likes to be the center of attention. So there's a lot of great things about Leo that are associated with the sun and associated with the element of fire. The other thing about Leo is that Leo is a fixed sign. So the way that the signs work is there's three categories that each sign can be. So each sign can be a cardinal sign, a fixed sign, or a mutable sign, right? So what happens when you have, think about the seasons, right? Each season, summer, spring, fall, what have you, there's three signs that span that time. So you always have your cardinal sign is the sign that opens up the season. So it's a sign of new beginnings, new starts, all of that. Then the middle sign is going to be the fixed sign, which is smack dab in the middle of the season, which is where we are with Leo. And this is a sign that is the most resistant to change. And it's all about maintaining the status quo. Like, I like the way things are going right now. I want to keep things going this way. Not really going to shake up the boat all that much. And then at the end of the season, the sign that closes the season is a mutable sign, which is probably the most adaptable sign, is the sign that most enjoys change and can deal with change a lot better than any of the other signs. So Leo is smack in the middle of the season. It's in the middle of summer in August. It is a fixed sign, which means a lot of times that can translate into Leo being very stubborn and very stuck in their ways, not wanting to, go with anybody else's plan. Their plan is the best, and this is what they're going to do. And last but not least, in astrology, Leo lives. Now, this portion of it, the fact that it lives in the fifth house, which is the house of creativity, it's the house of change, all of that. So it's great. Leos are very creative. Also, the house of children can be involved in that house because children are very much like that. They're very creative. They have this fiery abundance energy. Leos can be very charming. All of that lives in that fifth house. And that's the only component, I would say, the fifth house, that doesn't really translate that much into witchcraft and magic work. But let's talk about the other three components that do, right? So we're talking about the element of fire, planet of the sun, and the fact that it is a fixed sign. So all of these three things can translate into very tangible energy that we can use throughout the season. So first, let's look and say, let's look at the good qualities of Leo, because once again, Leo's attached to fire and sun, so it's going to do well with changing things to its own liking. Not that it likes change. Remember, it's a fixed sign. So Leo likes to be right, and Leo does not like to be disputed. Leo does not like people to contradict them. Leo likes to do the things that they want to do the way they want to do it, and they like to enact change in different areas. Not big change, but little changes. So for example, you hire a Leo to come and work for you, chances are very quickly they're going to be like, okay, this is what we're doing wrong and this is what we're going to do right. They have all of that initiative, and that energy is tied to the planet of the sun, which is that leadership energy to step forward and say, nope, I'm taking charge and this is what we're doing. So Leo has the propensity to be a very benevolent leader. Leo has the ability a lot of times when it's in a good place to say, hey, I'm going to, not only am I going to succeed, Sun is very tied to success. I'm going to bring all these people along with me. I don't succeed by myself. I bring everybody else along with me, which is when Leo is very balanced and really looking in a very positive way, right? Leo has a lot of male energy associated with it. So that is one of the great qualities of Leo. So you could tap into Leo for works of leadership. If you are trying to be a team lead at work, or trying to be a manager or somebody like that, you can tap into Leo and say, hey, support me through this. Help me to move forward. And you would use the elements of fire, and you would use the element of fire, and you use the planet of the sun, both of those to bring Leo in. Now, how would you do that? You can use the symbol of Leo itself. It's the little circle with the squiggly around it. Or you could use the elements fire and sun, the symbols for them. You could add herbs and crystals that are associated with fire and sun. So there's many different ways to bring in that Leo energy in to the work that you're doing. It's important to note that when you're looking at crystals, you want to know the energy that sits behind their crystals, going back to how those crystals were formed. And if you want to learn more about that, you can sign up for my class, the crystal geology class, and we talk a great deal about that. So a lot of times what I see is people will say, well, this sign, this crystal here is a Leo crystal, right? And I'm like, why is it a Leo crystal? And a lot of times people will call it a Leo crystal because it's orange, or it's like a paley yellowy color, or because it kind of it feels like fire, or it's got some associations with fire, which is very valid. But really, when you look at that to see where those crystals are coming from, look at the formation process. I don't like to tie planetary energy to crystals because they are inherently part of the earth. They are not going to be correspondences with other planets. People do make associations with other planets, but they are not created in those other planets. They don't live in those other planets. They live here. They possess energy of the earth, and they possess energy of the elements that manifest within the earth. So this is why they're such great tools for elemental energies, because that is the energy that's been imbued with them, with all the power that our planet has to bring to the table. So this is one of the ways that you can incorporate them in that way. Same thing with herbs, right? Herbs do have a planetary correspondence because they're a little bit more complicated. So they're going to have leaves and roots and flowers and different colors and different scents and all of these different things that are going to bring a more broad version to when you start working with herbs in relation to that. So there are herbs of Leo. When it comes to working with the crystals, I would say stick to the elements. That's really your best guideline to where that crystal is going to take you. But I digress. So that's the first thing. Leo is great at leadership. It can be the benevolent leader, but on the flip side, Leo can be overbearing. Leo can be the micromanager. Leo can be the one that steals other people's ideas and shows them off as their own. So if you are encountering problems like that, it probably means that Leo in your energy is very unbalanced. So it's a matter to kind of rein that in. And during this time of year is a great time to do it. The way that I would rein it in is I would bring in a little bit of more of air energy and fire energy, water energy into it, and a little bit more of moon energy to balance that. Like sun and moon is a perfect balance for us, the collective divine masculine and divine feminine. So bring more of that in, and that will balance out a little bit of that energy for you so that you are not a tyrant at work. I mean, I've been there, done that, have that t-shirt. Not a fun thing when people are kind of secretly resenting you because you're basically being a miniature tyrant. So it's important to be self-aware and to be aware of what's happening, and to be aware of how your actions are impacting the actions of other people. And this is sometimes can be very difficult for Leo to kind of stand outside of themselves and think about that, because Leos are that bright sun, right? They're constantly burning. And so for them to put themselves into other people's shoes, very, very difficult for them. So this is a very valid exercise if you have either Leo as your main sign, or even if you have Leo as your ascendant sign. If you have both, it's really hard for you to put yourself in other people's shoes. And this is going to require a lot of work for you to kind of move into that direction. The other thing that Leo does well is creativity. So Leo has a sun in its back, literally. And those of you who have had readings with me and who have had private sessions with me know that I love to use this example, which is when you have the sun on your back, you have a couple of different options. You need to find an outlet for that energy, because that energy does not stop. So imagine you can't shut the sun off. You can't take it down. So that sun energy, that solar energy, is going and going and going and going and going, and you can't turn it off. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a situation where if you don't have a positive outlet for that energy, it's going to find any outlet it can. And sometimes it can be very self destructive. So, a lot of times, this energy can come out in addiction, it can come out in very negative behavior. Since it's a divine masculine energy, it can come out in kind of like narcissism. It can come out in somebody who's very controlling and overbearing. It can come out in many different negative ways. So, I think artistry, any type of creative work, is a great outlet for anybody who's got Leo in their chart in a main position, to get that energy out, because it allows you to kind of self-express. You're not following anybody else's, rule. Just go out and create whatever it is that you want to create. It's a great outlet that you can use if you're trying to have that kind of energy, because you can't help it. If you are born under Leo, you are a high energy sign. Another sign that's high energy, just like that, is Aries, right? All of the fire signs are a little bit high energy, but I would say Leo with the sun in its back and Aries with Mars behind it are the most like rah signs. And so they need lots and lots and lots of outlets for different types of energy, so that they can move forward in a positive way. When the energy is not expressed in an outward manner, in a positive, constructive manner, it can become very destructive, not just to themselves, but to the people around them. And so that's very important, to find that creative outlet. Aries is not in the fifth house, Leo is. So Leo is going to have, artistry. All of this artistic stuff is going to be right up Leo's alley. Leo also likes to be, a lot of Leos are great to be performers. So if you are a singer and you are a Leo, you are ahead of the game. Or if you are an artist and you have your Venus in Leo, you are ahead of the game, because this is one of the things that go really well, right? The bringing in that energy of that fifth house, that energy of Leo working together into that creativity, is really going to be a fantastic way to move things forward. If you're trying to tap into that Leo creativity energy, you can do that. So how would you do that? If you're opening up a new business, if you're trying to launch a new product, if you are trying to get pregnant, creativity, creating something new, there's no difference between that and also being associated with creating new life. Remember that we also talked about Leo being associated with children. So Leo is a great energy in August to tap into for all kinds of fertility medicine. Tap into that element of fire, tap into the sun for success. So whatever idea or life or anything you're trying to manifest and bring to fruition in your life, Leo energy can help you with that. And this month is going to be jam-packed full of Leo energy. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, in terms of being a fixed sign. So this is another thing. So one of the things that where Leo is going to shine at is Leo is going to look around and they're going to make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. Leo is not a sign that likes a lot of people being negative and unhappy. It's kind of going to be like the life of the party, right? Leo wants to cheer everybody up. Leo wants to make sure that everybody's great. And so this is going to be good also for all types of community work, especially if you're having strife in the community right now. If you are having people that are not getting along, if you're having all this backbiting going back and forth between people, tap into that energy, that sun energy, to say, hey guys, let's all work together. Let's flip this around to a more positive energy. And you can even bring in a little bit of extra of moon water energy combined with that Leo sun, that fire sun energy, to bring forth a little bit more balance. But this month in August, since we are looking at a fixed month, this is a great time to kind of even things out. If things in your life have been kind of crazy and been like all over the place, Leo season is a season that you can say, okay, I need to hit a place where everything is balanced. I need to go back to the status quo. I need to be, doing the things that I was doing to make myself successful. Leo is the sign that we look to for success. Leo has the formula, basically. Now, whether Leo chooses to use that formula for good or for evil is completely up to the Leo, right? It's not just about, your main sign and your ascendant sign. There's a lot of other parts in your native chart that's going to tell you more about that for you. And I am by no means an astrologer. I just know enough to get in trouble. But I like to take this celestial astrological energy, and I like to convert that into energy that I can actually use in my spell casting in my everyday. So this month, for anybody, not just for Leos, but for anybody, this is the month to pretty much get your shit together. If you feel that you've been all over the place and you're trying to kind of rein all of that in and say, okay, where am I really? What am I supposed to be doing? What is my thing that I've been kind of going in 50 million directions? This is the month to do it and tap in on the powers of Leo and the Leo constellation directly, right? You can tap into the elements and the planets that rule Leo, or you can reach out and tap into that constellation as a whole directly for a whole bunch more energy that you can work with and say, hey, I need to find that balance in my life now. I need to find the place that is not going to be restricted. Leo doesn't like to be restricted. So finding balance is not the same as organizing and putting everything in its place and forming this nice little box and this straitjacket that you can't come out of, right? It's about finding what are the things that move you, what are the things that I really enjoy doing, what are the things that are really important to me in my life that bring me joy and I can do and be happy about, but not necessarily restricting me. We all have things we don't want to do that we have to do, and those things suck. But if you maintain a source of balance, which means for every sucky thing you do something that feeds your soul, eventually you're going to notice that overall you're going to be a much more balanced and happier person. And you can tap into the energies of Leo for that, especially in this month. So I hope that that was helpful for you. I wanted to look and see what ceremonies we have coming up so I can kind of give you guys a heads up on that. So we are going to have, let's see. So our witches roundtable is going to be next Tuesday, and we are going to be doing work. Love is in the air, and the reason why we're doing that is because we have the transit of Juno coming into place, and Juno is all about relationships and marriage and home and so balance and all of that. So if you are in a relationship right now and you want to solidify that and make it better, this is going to be a ceremony for you. If you are not in a relationship, you're looking to attract somebody, this is going to be a ceremony for you. If you are not in a relationship and you don't want to attract somebody, but you want to solidify some friendships that maybe have not been doing that great, or some relationships with family members, this is going to be the ceremony for you. So mark your calendars, Witches Roundtable next Tuesday, August the 15th at 7:30 p.m. We're going to do that. And then at the end of the month, we are going to be doing a ceremony on the 22nd. And it's going to be, I'm going to have a live sale on the 22nd, which is going to be all about the heart chakra and relationships. Once again, sticking with that same theme that we were looking at before. So heart chakra, relationships, connecting with what are the crystals and the tools that are going to be good for you for doing that. And I may or may not have new product launches to announce at that live. So mark your calendars. It's going to be on the Raven Moon Emporium Instagram page, and I hope to see you there. All right, guys, have a great week and enjoy this beautiful Leo energy that we all have around us. Bye-bye.